So in today's video, I've been getting requests to do certain types of videos, and one of those requests was how to use a framing square. And I decided to just sort of expand this into all types of squares, just because a framing square is a fairly rudimentary piece of equipment. There is a lot of things to it that the average person might not know, but I just decided to expand it. There's lots of different types of squares with different uses. So I'll start out with this framing square here. This was my grandpa's. This was the one that was in my truck that got stolen and burnt. If you remember that video. I got it cleaned up pretty good. The patent date on this one, I don't know where it is, somewhere on here. April 23rd, 1901. So that's the patent date. I don't know when this would have actually been produced, but probably sometime between 1901 and 1920 or so. Not 100% sure, but the brand of it, oh, yeah, good luck reading that. Marshall Wells, I think that says. If anyone knows anything about a Marshall Wells framing square, let me know. But yeah, on here it's got your hexagon, octagon, all your sort of geometric ratios and stuff. I've never actually used any of that, so I might not be the best one to be giving a demo on this. But then on this side it's got like all your rafter tables and stuff, so if you're cutting rafters and hips or whatever, it's got for the different pitches of roofs and whatnot. But you know, the most simple form of using a square like this is to just have your piece of lumber, hook it on the top, and scribe your line, which is good. It works if you're, you know, taking the time to actually make sure that that's square. And an easier way, I'll get into some of the other squares, but I should have brought my stair gauges over, because those are kind of handy for a framing square. But if you want to figure out angles, like in terms of pitch of a roof, say you want to do a 412, cut a 412 rafter, you just take the numbers along each end and go to the outside, because that's easiest. And then that would be 4 right there, and 12 right there. So then that would give you, you could do a 412 along that side, or if you wanted to cut like for a rafter, which would be like the tail end of a rafter, say, you would mark along that side. This would be like the slope side. But yeah, that's basically all there is that I really know about framing squares. Like I say, a pretty simple thing. If anybody else knows anything that I'm forgetting in the comments, let me know. And this is a steel square, obviously it's rusty, but then they do make aluminum versions of the same thing, which is quite a bit easier to read because it doesn't rust and it's a lot lighter. I just like this steel square, just sentimental value, I guess. It's kind of an antique, and it is nice and heavy. Like, it definitely feels like you're grabbing something. This, it's just light and flimsy. But yeah, for anyone who did watch the truck video where I pulled this out of the truck and it was all warped, I did get it straightened out pretty good, and I put it into square. So yeah, that's basically what to cover on framing square. And next up would be a speed square. This does everything that a framing square does, pretty much, and more, just except on sort of a smaller scale. You know, this you can mark much larger things, obviously. But, you know, basically the only thing that differentiates these two squares is about $400. This one probably cost between $15 to $20, and this one was about $420. And the reason this one's so expensive, it's a Martinez. If you don't know about Martinez, they're sort of a, how would I put it, a startup tool company, I guess. But their stuff is very high quality. This is titanium, and it has an integrated torpedo level in the heel. So that comes in more handy than I ever would have expected it to. But you know what, other than that, there's just so much more you can do with this expensive one. This here is for changing your saw blade. It's a built-in wrench. And then this one's got all these little scribe marks on here. So say you want to scribe something at 2 inches, just put your pencil in that mark and drag it past. Then it's got scribe marks along this side too. There's actually a bottle opener built into this one. And yeah, this is just your basic $20 square. But for this one, not only can you do like roof pitch, like over 12, you can do the exact angle too. So say you want to do a 20-degree angle, you put it up against your substrate and then pivot it. There's a pivot point right here. It says pivot in the corner, and you just turn that, and then there's numbers along this side here. So I marked 20 degrees, and there's the 20-degree end cut. I'll just kind of show that a little closer. I don't know what the lighting's like in here, but you know what I mean. You see these in my videos. So yeah, and then same with a roof pitch. Say you want to do a 412, you just line it up with the 412. And then it's also got the inner scale here. So if you want to do a 412 hip or valley cut, mark that. And if you don't know what a hip or valley is, that's, say you have a hipped roof with 4 sides and it's got, like, it's not a gable roof. So that corner piece running up is your hip, or if you have a dormer coming out where those two roof lines intersect, that's your valley. So that is a different pitch. It's about roughly 1/3 of the pitch of the actual roof. So yeah, I don't think I'm forgetting anything else on here. That pretty much covers the speed square, I think. And then these next 2 squares are more for finish applications. This is called a combination square. And a lot of combination squares actually do have that level in the heel there. I don't know why it's not commonplace for speed squares to have one, but basically all I use this for is like gauging depths and stuff. Like say I'm putting in like the rabbeted edge for the glass on my windows, I'll set this to about 3/8 and tighten it down, and then I can go along and set the depth and pin it. But yeah, the nice thing about these is it does have that depth adjustment, so it's kind of a multi-use tool. But yeah, it works like any other square. Put it up against the substrate and make your mark. You can't do angles with this one. This is just a square. This does come, a lot of these come with a little scribing tool. So say if you're doing you know, like baseboard or whatever, and you don't want to actually like put a pencil mark, or you don't have your pencil with you or whatever, you can just make a little scribe, and that thing's actually pretty sharp. It tore out the grain of the wood on that piece, but I don't really use that at all, but it's there if you ever need it. And yeah, it'll also do a 45. I should mention that, 45 degrees. Same with the speed square as well. It's got a 90 and a 45. But you can also do a 45 with the 90 if you set that angle there. So there's so many uses with a speed square. So many that I probably don't even know, but I'm just kind of explaining to you what I know and what I use these for on a daily basis. So yeah, that covers the combination square. And then the last square that I have, there's a lot of different types of squares too that I don't have for like finer carpentry and stuff, just because I'm not really into that finer work. This is a drywall square. And the nice thing about this, like I don't do drywall at all, but I still have a drywall square. I find this handy for like metal panels and stuff, like metal roofing panels. And what's nice about this, it's basically just like a big framing square, but it also has this piece. I can maybe, you might not be able to see this, but you can hang it and it'll stay, like it won't tip or anything, because it's got this extra kick out here to keep it nice. And like with this thing, you're always kind of double checking to make sure if it's hooked on and not kinked out. But this one, you always know it's hooked on there. And I think the reason they do that, make it so it can hang, is because you're usually cutting drywall on the like up against the wall on the lift, so you can hang it there. And yeah, but this one's very simple. All you can do is make one line. So yeah, basically the drywall square. But yeah, like I was saying, I use it for metal roof panels. Say if you got to get a square cut, you just hook that on the outside of the panel and draw across. Because it is 4 feet long and metal panels are usually 3 feet, so this 2-foot end of the framing square wouldn't really help you much. So yeah, that's basically kind of what I know about squares. If I missed anything, for any of the pro carpenters out there who are watching, be sure to correct me and leave it in the comments. But anyways, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this simple sort of how-to video. I do have some more requests that I'll probably make videos on here. And if you have any other requests, be sure to leave those in the comments and I'll try and get around and make a video on that stuff. So thanks for watching. Check out all the links in the description and stay healthy, everyone.